What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping back into Destiny 2 with some news coming in the form of this week at Bungie. So, for the quick overview, they do talk about content that'll be sticking around after Season of the Hunt, as well as some things that'll be going away from this season. And then they talk about the return of Umbral Engrams that have been mixed up quite a bit. There's some new reward systems there. They're also bringing back the Prismatic Recaster, but in a slightly different format, so we'll talk about all of that, as well as Gilded titles, which will give kind of upgraded versions of titles we currently have in the game, starting with Season 13, and then there are a few other things to speak about in the video as well. So guys, as always, I hope you enjoy this one, but without further delay, let's get straight into it. Since we are getting close to the end of Season 12, they do say, here's a look at what's sticking around from Season of the Hunt until the end of Year 4, so that will include story missions, and these will be able to be launched from a node on the Director, but also Wrathborn hunts. So that activity will stick around, but then the Adored quest will continue to be available, the Crow's vendor screen on Tangled Shore, as well as the Hawkmoon exotic quest and master activity, the seasonal seal and Warden title. But in terms of things that will be no longer available at the end of the season, Crow's bounties, messages from the field, the seasonal artifact and the season pass will all be going away on February 9th. They say that shifting to keep more of the content around after the season has ended has created some weirdness for Season of the Hunt. And this is why Crow was still hanging around in Spider's lair right after being unceremoniously kicked out earlier in the season. You may see other anomalies in Season 13, where the Crow will be moving to a new destination, while also remaining on the Tangled Shore to enable Season of the Hunt content tied to his inventory. So yes, there are going to be two of the Crow in the game at the same time in different destinations by the sounds of it, which is certainly somewhat unusual. But here they talk a little bit about changes that we'll see in Season 13. So they say in 2020, Season of Arrivals introduced a new feature called Umbral Engrams, and this allowed Guardians to focus rewards to the type of weapons and armor rolls they most desired. The system was well received by the community, so we've decided to do a little tuning and bring it back for Season 13, as well as future seasons in Year 4. And they say while the new seasonal activity will always provide the fastest path to earning rewards, we want to ensure that regardless of how you spend your time in Destiny, Umbral Engrams allow you to chase new rewards. So similar to Season of Arrivals, Umbral Engrams will drop from completing a variety of content, and that will include patrols, strikes, Crucible, Gambit, the Ordeal, public events, the Blind Well, Nightmare hunts, Exo challenges, Empire hunts, and the new seasonal activity. They will also have a small chance to drop in the world by defeating enemies. And they also say we'll notice fewer Engrams sitting in our inventory than before, as the drop rates were higher than expected, and they've rebalanced it, but there'll also be a short quest to show players how to use the new Prismatic Recaster. The quest will be account-wide, so you only have to do it once. And yes, the Prismatic Recaster returns as a kiosk with the capability to change Umbral Engrams into focused Umbral Engrams, which contain a smaller loot table. And because these Engrams are here to stay, the new Recaster will have different pages for each season, and you'll be able to focus Engrams to the season of your choice. Once we've used the Prismatic Recaster to focus an Engram, we'll still need to take it to the Umbral Decoder to claim the reward. And they note that Season of the Hunt's Wrathborn rewards will not be featured on the Prismatic Recaster in Season 13, because players can still use Wrathborn lure to chase specific weapons and rolls. Then for the Prismatic Lens, they have a new way to unlock different focusing options for the Umbral Engrams. So this new Prismatic Lens item will unlock a new focusing option so you can target a narrower collection of gear, or target specific armor stats. And they say we'll be able to earn these by doing various activities in the game and track progress towards unlocking lenses at the Prismatic Recaster. They finish by saying they don't want to spoil everything though, so they'll let us discover how to start earning these in Season 13. So interesting that they are kind of bringing that system back. They do stress that there will be a separate kind of seasonal activity with its own loot pool. And of course it's a general positive that we get more access to more rewards. It'll be interesting to see precisely how all of those are kind of populated and what the choice of rewards will be. In itself, it could be a positive, but of course, we need those loot tables to be kind of interesting and substantial enough, and with new content to actually chase inside of them, right? And the hope, especially with sunsetting at the moment, is that Bungie are going to be introducing quite a lot of very appealing content and gear to collect over the next few seasons. So obviously that's a slightly separate subject, but I'd be curious as to what you guys think about the return of the Prismatic Recaster. And right here, they say they want to share a change coming to seals and titles in Season 13. So they say they like the idea of re-engaging with titles season over season, and so the goal is to allow players to show off their engagement with core rituals season over season, preserve the value of earning the base title, and decrease the amount of grind required season over season for players that want to earn them all. So starting with Season 13, if a player has completed the seal for one of the core ritual titles, and that includes Unbroken, Dredgen, Flawless, and Conqueror, players will then have a series of additional seasonal objectives to gild that title. And in terms of what gilding actually means, they say a series of seasonal objectives to gild a core ritual title, and that'll add a new border around the seal in the Triumph's UI, a pip tracking how many times in our career we've gilded a given title, and a new colour and symbol for the title over our heads so that you can show off. And they do show some of the gilding options right there for the flawless title. And they say once we finish the base seal and claim the hard-earned title, a list of optional seasonal objectives will be revealed, and by completing these objectives, we'll be able to earn the guild for the season. And we can see that the flawless title right there has a kind of bronzy orange glow around those objectives. So I think that in itself is kind of interesting and does add some new seasonal pursuit to those playlists over time. But Bungie say, in terms of what happens when the season is over, each season, the optional gilding objectives will reset and may even change to fit the unique experiences of any given season. All of the base objectives for the title will be preserved, and your title will revert to its typical purple colouring. And once again, Flawless, Conqueror, Unbroken, and Dredgen will be the core titles that they're focusing on for this initial change in Season 13. And obviously that does rejuvenate some of the core seals in the game. That'd be kind of interesting to see what those objectives are going to be. And let us know your thoughts about it down below as well. Bungie also say that they know there are a lot of community conversations happening around the current state of the game. They don't want to lean too far into the "we're listening" meme, but they say it's 100% true that they take community feedback to heart and are absolutely considering community concerns and suggestions as we continue to evolve our plans for 2021 and beyond. They also point out that Joe Blackburn had said the other day they are intending to do a Destiny 2021 state of the game during Season 13, so we are once again going to get that wider conversation about the future of D2. And once again, let us know the subjects you'd want Bungie to focus on the most in that conversation. But also in the TWAB, quick shout right here, but they are doing some Guardian giveaways, this time including Beyond Light Collector's Edition, so you can check out how all of that works in the TWAB, which is linked in the description box below. Another important thing which players have been discussing is the upcoming removal of memory fragments in Season 13. So JP Deathblade on Twitter reminded me of this, and Bungie said that unused memory fragment currency, of course used to purchase stasis fragments, will be removed from player inventories on February 9th when Season 13 begins, and players who own all 6 fragments don't need to complete additional fragment quests. So initially, of course, bear that in mind, we do get the 2 fragments that are currently available in the game for each character, and outside of that, any spare fragments are going to be removed. And this does indicate that memory fragments could be used to earn new fragments in Season 13, but there's a little bit of frustration at the idea that they're going to be removed. And I guess if we were only intended to get 6 of these this season, then it probably would have made sense for those quests to stop dropping when no longer necessary. Let us know what you guys think down below, but the prospect of more fragments next season is pretty neat regardless. Players have continued to give feedback about Trials of Osiris, and of course there are a series of different issues when we speak about Trials, whether it's the PvP sandbox or stuff that affects Trials more heavily. Then of course the reward systems, but also matchmaking, population, cheating, and things like that. But DMG did say that they have been passing along feedback on Trials rewards specifically, and we have some opportunity for players to return next season as we've got new rewards entering the fold, but there is definitely feedback surrounding the Trials experience as a whole that the team is aware of. It's positive at least that they are acknowledging further issues with Trials. Of course in Season 13, new armor has been confirmed. I'll definitely be curious to get thoughts from you guys down below on the current state of Trials, whether it's something you want to continue playing but don't feel is exciting enough, or, whether you feel the playlist has significant issues, or simply isn't interesting whatsoever. I'd definitely be curious to get your thoughts down below. But on the subject of Trials, DMG did confirm that the missing Trials of Osiris revive sound cue is a bug, and the team is looking to fix it in a future patch, but don't currently have a time frame. And once again, for players wondering why Nezaric's Sin still isn't proccing when using Deafening Whisper, Bungie had confirmed that the patch note included on Tuesday was in error, and the fix for that is actually coming up in Season 13. So bear that in mind once again. And the final thing to mention right here, but Bungie do have a new Harbinger kind of shirt right here, obviously themed around the mission. And specifically, we've got the icon right there from the emblem. And they say players have got until May 11th to complete the Hawkmoon Catalyst and earn the exclusive long sleeve shirt for purchase via Bungie rewards. So if that's something that interests you, I will leave the link to the Bungie store down below. But as always, guys, give us your thoughts on everything that we've discussed in this one. But if you have found the video useful or interesting, a rating below very much helps us out as well. If you want to keep up to date on all the news for Destiny, the new content that we'll be getting next season, then feel free to get subscribed to the channel. But for now, thank you for tuning in as always, and I hope you have an awesome day.